That building we've always referred to as the wagon shed. We park our cars under that carport, which is added onto it. However, it's a very old building, I think, and it's gonna get a lot of my attention here shortly. This is the way the west side of it looks. There's the corner, the southwestern corner of it. You can see a corn crib occupied, or still occupies part of it. The roof needs to be repaired. The corn crib is currently full of all kinds of hand field tools for working by hand. Hoes, scythes, rakes, picks, shovels, just a place to put them. And this stone wall, I wanted to point that out. It tells quite a story. That crack that you see right there separates one kind of stone from another. The foundation itself has got quite a story to tell, I think. Oh, and that timber that's on that sill that's on top of that foundation, a beautiful, beautiful piece of wood, hand hewn. I mean, it's a story I can't get into right now. Now here's the southeastern corner of the wagon shed. That outhouse hasn't been used in decades. That pole is the power supply to our house. Here is the northeast corner of this building. I never like to see a slope become less as it gets away from the building. But you know, this was done before my time. I don't know if I hadn't better get into that either, but it becomes a lesser building when, as you come down the roof, the slope becomes less. It really should become more, as in that gambrel roof of the old barn over there. And here is the northwestern corner of that building. The roof, my son recently did a pretty nice job of repairing the roof. That maple never should have been, I don't know how it ended up growing so close to it, but that's kind of another story. I'm going to get down and show you just a little of inside that building. All right, I'm going to walk in the door. I'll have to give dimensions and explain about this more later because I'm hoping for some input. Let's look at that northern wall. You can see that there's 4 bays. The posts appear to be, I'll measure them in a minute, but the posts appear to be 6x6s, although they may be 7x7s. The braces really don't do anything to shorten the span. All they do is to keep the building from racking. It was very well built back in its time 50 years ago. I'll crawl up that ladder and make a couple measurements. The corn crib is it is not supporting the long beams. It's going up to them, but you can see that it's not really supporting them. Really, again, in its day, this was such a beautiful building. It's such a high ceiling, though, because it was meant for a hay wagon full of hay to be able to be parked in here. All right, I'm going to climb up that. Oh, and one of the questions before me, now this furnace here is just stored here because I don't know where to put it. I've cleaned a bunch of stuff out. There's a lot of benches available here. You know, it's been a catch-all for all kinds of things, but this furnace right here can heat this whole space if it were reasonably sealed. And I'll have more to say about this. It's called a Kodiak. Notice that the 4 adjustments are here. I only recently realized that I need a wrench to get them. That this must have been an outdoor furnace that had everything stripped away, and I should have known that because right there, I don't know if you can see it or not, the flue comes out of it right out of the top, which, you know, normally you would not do that, but if it's an outdoor furnace, it didn't really need a chimney. The So one of my big questions is going to be where to place this. The grates are in there for coal, and this stuff that's on top, most of it has nothing to do with this furnace, but I think some of it might. All right, I'm going to climb that ladder. Before I go up the ladder, I can report that the posts are 6x6s, sawed, not hewed, and this sill, you can tell by the markings on it that it was not only hand hewed, but it was also out of another building, because those notches were made probably, I'll have to look closer, but probably for rafters. And then this stonework is rather nice. The floor is dirt, and it's not level, and that's the way I'd like to leave it. And I want to make this into a tavern or an inn. All right, up the ladder. These posts, which I think I just said are in fact 6x6s, oak, those are 4x4 braces. They're 7'4" OC on center, which is nice because an 8-foot piece will work as a truss. Now, I'm still not so sure that those beams, though, are 6x6. We'll see in a moment. Those beams are only 6x6s, but what lumber that is. I'm amazed at how long that span is. Now, it wasn't meant to carry weight. I've just laid planks and various stuff up there when I've wanted to climb up there. And what I want to do in here, I can say right now, is since I'm going to put more weight on top of them, I want to put pillars, vertical pillars part way along that span. I'll say more about that later. Let's see what the span actually is. 24 foot. That's what it is. Now that includes the 1-inch siding the whole way around. So the frame, I guess, would be 2310. The pitch of the roof, I don't know offhand, but I know it's not enough to have headroom for walking up there, which is kind of another matter. Bye for now.